they come again. Space. That shot! And City takes a 3-2 lead. Unbelievable!
Out wide if she can find her. Great job to play Ella Offer. Offer a right-footed ball across. Romine arriving at the far post. It's 2-1. Detroit City FC.
And we're back in our lovely abodes for this edition of the Musings. Oh my God, what a week of soccer outside of outside of Fight Night at the Key. What a weekend of soccer that we've just had.
I gotta say, this weekend was one of the weirdest ones. Some of them I checked the highlights, other of them I didn't watch the game, but I did hear about it. It was just, and oh my, if you're in England, you're asking how much do we play for this player? It's kind of weird and
Oh,
weird.
it's been like that for years. It's been like that for years and years and years, and we'll talk about all that stuff. But first
By the
off,
way, I'm at my home, but as you probably know, this is the background of the new Alumni Fi Stadium.
very
which
nice.
Is, and incidentally, I passed by the stadium listening en route to something, and yeah, the building is still technically up, but I did see Sean Mann over at the Hampton Festival, and he told me that they could start demolition of the old hospital within 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Good news there. Good news
So that's
there.
going to be a development.
And I don't think it's going to take much of a demolition. Say like something extravagant, say like the Hudson's building, for example, or
They're not going to blow up the building. They're going to do it by cranes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it's going to take as long too, because I mean, you look at the fabrication of the original structure. It's I mean, it's not really all brick and mortar. Basically a steel structure.
Yeah, it's mostly steel structure and side paneling and all that, and the windows are gone. So
it probably won't take that long, and then they can get started on the process of building Alumni 5 Field after that point. And of course, as you know, Michigan winters can be tough as far as the construction season goes. So
very, very, very tough if it snows or let's say 20 degrees with the wind chill at 10.
And bless those people that are going to be signing up for this job, demoing that place and especially building that place, because they're in for a tough haul. Cold winters, hot summers.
And by the way, we just celebrated Labor Day on Monday.
Shout out to all those workers out there.
Yeah, considering the Toledo Walleye and the Toledo Mudhens showed construction of their stadium, Fifth Third Field and Huntington Place during construction, and they thank all the workers. So hey, God bless them.
I put a tweet and skeet and thing out about the USL players being workers, and of course they got the big CBA coming up, because this is a very important CBA, by the way, because of the fact that with all the intentions of going Division I, possible pro rel and stuff, this is a huge CBA. So shout out to those guys, especially those guys that are playing for league minimums and stuff like in the USL. You guys are workers too, so we like to give you a shout out as that. Speaking of the workers,
oh
my God, Saturday night was just crazy.
How about other than our game on Saturday, with the goal by Kobe Hernandez Potter nominated for Goal of the Week? Holy crap! When you mentioned some of these scores, including a couple of them you highlighted, Birmingham, Orange County FC. I saw the highlights.
God.
Was that crazy or what?
Sam and I were coming home from Keyworth, and we had that game on, and it started, literally, and we got the highlights right here. My God, as I'm going back to FOTMOB for this. So it started just after halftime. we tuned into this game. So I'm not going to pull it up until I pull up the thing here. You know how prepared I am right now.
Well, we do these things on the fly. You know how
Yeah.
we do.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So let's go to the 54th, or no, let's go to the 52nd minute of play.
Yeah.
Vuk Latinovic.
Yes.
What the hell is this all about? Oh my God. Own goal. Initially, Mike Kurz said it was Ronaldo Damas that put the banner, but it was Latinovic. The weirdest goal I've ever seen.
Oh my.
As far as an own goal goes. Maybe the only other one that might be as weird was the own goal in the NISA Championship from 2021.
I remember that pretty well. It was one of the weirdest goals. He initially passed it back to the goaltender. It was too much, and it went over his head in the back of the net. Thank you very much.
Oh God, I can't think of the player's name offhand either. But I know he had an Irish, but it wasn't Gregor. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was McGregor. I don't think it was. But I don't know. It had some kind of an Irish. Let's say, hint to it, but I can't remember. I can't remember his name offhand. But that was back. That was back in 2021. However, like I said, they were back and forth the whole game because after after that goal, oh well, where am I going? Okay, I had the fat. Okay, what's going on?
Was crazy, Birmingham.
It was crazy. It was crazy because Guimaraes got a goal 2 minutes later in the 54th minute. Then Tregarden in the 62nd minute put Birmingham back up in the lead again. Haggart tied it up in the 68th minute. This was just the second half. And in the first half, it was Daly in the 3rd minute, Miles in the 24th minute, Damus in the 28th minute, and then Zubak on a penalty in the 43rd minute. It was like every time Birmingham gets a lead, Orange County would come right back. And
I know, and they didn't put them away, and it wound it up into a spectacular 4-4 tie.
Mm-hmm. Another draw on the weekend saw Phoenix Rising.
Oh my!
Was up by a score of 3-0. Think they'd be cruising. Yeah. No problems here.
And then
kind of like they were, earlier in the year against Detroit City, cruising along. Not so fast, my friend.
And then in the 62nd minute, one of the Phoenix players, the name escaped me, got a red card. So Phoenix was down 10 men, and then
second yellow of the night for
second
one.
Yellow, not three. My correction. Sorry.
Yeah, second yellow for the night for Asel Enrique, or no, Asenke.
Yeah.
Asel Asenke got his second yellow of the night in the 64th minute, and the floodgates were open for El Paso. 3 goals here. Moreno, Torres, and this one here by Ruiz in the 99th minute of play.
On the deaf, oh my.
And New Mexico, or El Paso, comes back from a 3-0 deficit. This time, the team that was up 3-0 had the red card. So not so much the Lansing United treatment, shall we say, as
the infamous Lansing United blew a
3-0 lead.
3-0 lead with a man up with 15 minutes to play. That have lived on in lore forever.
Well, this literally here was with the red card came in the 64th minute. So literally, it was like almost 15 minutes to play in which New Mexico or El Paso started their comeback. So it was dramatic and epic. 2 big games from the Western USL After Dark was wild last Saturday night for sure. So, and of course,
I know.
we had a little bit of a fracas at Keyworth, also known as Fight
Yeah.
Night at
Oh,
the
by the
Key.
way, a couple more mention. Lexington lost to Las Vegas in one of the strangest own goals I ever seen. Lexington was
Yeah, I
trying to
think I
get
got that highlight as well.
yeah,
Lots of
that
these
is
highlights I
so
shared on Around the
embarrassing.
Sea. So,
Lexington passed it back to the goaltender. He lifted his leg a little too high, passed the goaltender, and in the back of the net. Holy
Brooks
short.
Thompson in the 17th minute of play
Oh
with
my, how
that own
embarrassing is
goal, and
that?
that's all the scoring that happened on that's all the scoring that happened on Saturday night over at
Now
Casper
that is
Field.
the second worst own goal I have ever seen. The worst was, I think, was a few years ago. It was an Indy 11 game. Can't remember the opponent. The goaltender passed it back to one of the player, and he kind of lightly tagged it back, but he mishandled it and went back to the net. It would look like a 5-foot putt in golf. Oh
Oh
my!
my God.
So what does
Oh,
this mean? So what does this mean in the standing in the plat?
oh
We
yes,
mentioned.
absolutely, yes. Let's
Yes,
take.
Blue City, 51 points, 4 points up on Charleston, the Battery FC, who lost to Rhode Island 1-0. Rhode Island got Charleston numbered, man.
Yes, they do, and and it comes at the right time. That puts them into the A spot in the Eastern Conference, and
Yes, eighth spot at 24 points. Detroit, the Loudoun United, they won 34 points. North Carolina FC, 33 points. And then in the visiting side, Detroit City, Hartford, Pittsburgh, all separated, winning a point. You mentioned Rhode Island, 24, 1 point better than in the 11. Birmingham, 21. Tampa Bay, 21. Miami FC, who have the team leading scorer in the USL in connection with the Golden Boot, 20. Can you imagine the Golden Boot coming from a team that didn't make the playoffs?
the way this playoff race is going in the Eastern Conference, it could be that case, because right now you don't know what's going on between the bottom five of that. 4 points separate the bottom five right now, so that's gonna be a hard fought race for the A spot right now. Um,
So,
a thing was brought up last night on USL All Access. Mike Watts asked Devin Kerr, "Do you feel good about positions 1 through 7 right now, as far as them making the playoffs?" And he said a yes. So right now, 1 through 7, the difference between Pittsburgh and Rhode Island right now is 4 points.
oh man.
So right now, it's truly a race for eighth right now in the Eastern Conference, when you got Rhode Island, Indy, Tampa Bay, Birmingham, and Miami, all all within 4 points of each other. And
Yes,
it's
I
going to make
know.
for It's going to make for interesting bedfellows in the next couple weeks. Tonight,
And-
Indy takes on Hartford,
Yeah,
uh,
so as mentioned, that's on ESPN Plus, and don't
and
forget
on
for those of you,
and
and
on
Lexington
Sirius
against
XM.
North Carolina on Friday.
Who is? Pardon again.
Lexington against North Carolina on Friday. So these are big matches if you're following the playoff rates with Detroit City in the mix. You know what I mean? Also,
Mhm.
one other mention, a big score, FC Tulsa for the first time in 14 games lost. They lost 2-0 to Colorado Springs Switchback. And that was huge. They're tied for the 8th spot with New Mexico, who we will play next week at 27. So it's Tulsa, Sacramento, El Paso, San Antonio in the home spot, then Phoenix, Lexington, Orange County, Colorado Springs, outside looking in, New Mexico, Monterey Bay, Oakland Roots, and Las Vegas. Lucky they got the 3 points from that. Oops. Goal.
Yeah, right now in the Western Conference, things are a little bit bunched up more because of the fact, other than Tulsa right now, there's 11 points separating second from the bottom right now.
Yeah.
Sacramento currently in second, as you said, 34 points. El Paso with 32 points, and San Antonio with 30 points, making up your top four. outside looking in on that top four, Phoenix, Orange County, Lexington, and New Mexico, the gap is 3 points.
Yeah.
Amongst those teams. And then you look
Yeah.
on the bottom, the outside looking in right now is Colorado Springs, who are tied with New Mexico at 27 points. New Mexico with the head-to-head there. And Monterey Bay and Oakland are 3 points behind. And let's see. Yeah, Monterey and Oakland are 3 points behind. And Las Vegas sitting there at 12th position.
Uh-huh.
4 points behind the A spot there. So that Western Conference right now, they said it last year, the Western Conference pillow fight. It's happening
but
again.
This time it's the Western Conference Battle Royal. We're only 14.
Yeah, well, it's not really a it might, other than the top spot right now, it's turning into a pretty much a battle royale as far as who what teams are involved in that particular battle royal. It's basically an 11-team fight to see who's going to stay in the playoff hunt.
Uh-huh. And then
the last four drop out, lose.
And we'll meet in the King of the Pitch tournament, i.e. the playoffs. Get it? Wrestling term?
Speaking of wrestling terms, I think you shared something last night. We'll elaborate more on that on Saturday. All right. Hard to segue out of that into, we were talking wrestling. So that's kind of a segue into what happened on Sunday night.
Yeah, I didn't see the game because I was at the Hamtramck Festival, and then after that, I went to a show at a nearby club.
Usually I don't see MLS games, let alone League Cup games for that matter.
I try to ignore it too because I'm with the Northern Guard side, not talking MLS. Thank God for that.
But this wasn't hard to ignore. I mean,
no.
We got some of the video right there. After the match, Inter Miami loses by a score of 3-0 to Seattle Sounders, and it's just
in the MLS Cup Summer Edition, aka the League Cup.
Yeah, and you see all kinds of pushing and shoving around, and this is a fisticuffs amongst players here, and it was like Miami was out there, trying to, shall we say, bad boy thuggery.
Tell me about it. There was pushing, shoving, fighting, because they got beaten so bad, especially the last goal near the end of the game, and holy shirt. And then, one player.
Well, I mean, we're running through this whole thing. I mean, you see Dupe and Busquets, and even Messi got. I heard Messi got involved a little bit, probably yelling at another player of a fellow Argentinian as well during the fracases. Afterwards, 9 red cards were handed out during this. Shall we say, melee at Lumen Field in Seattle last. I think it's called Lumen Field. I'm not sure what the.
It is Lumen Field. You got that right.
Because I'm not sure of the terminology anymore. It used to be known as Quest Field and all that stuff back in the day.
Quest Field, I know.
CenturyLink,
Yeah. But one player has been talked about more. One Luis Suarez. You probably know he had a history.
He had a security guard.
He been on a security guard. Holy shirt.
This guy has, and we're probably going to show it about 3 or 4 more times here. This guy has had a history of biting.
Yes. And he even bought in the World Cup back in 2014.
He's also had a history of, racial or using racial. Yeah, I mean, I think he was. I think he was with Liverpool at the time when that happened.
Yeah.
But this has got to be the. I don't know, between him and they were talking about another guy this morning on Morning Kick Around, if I remember correctly.
I saw the second
Joey
half of the
Barton.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joey Barton.
Yeah.
Joey Barton he was a mean SOB.
Oh.
Literally a mean SOB. I remember that game against I remember the game from the last game of the Premier League season back in 2012. He was handed a red card.
Yeah.
I mean, just for crap that just for shenanigans that he was pulling. I'm trying to be PC about this, but
Okay.
yeah, the crap that he was pulling against a couple of Manchester City players ended giving him the boot in that match. So he was notorious for that, and then he played for Manchester City. They let him
Oh
go.
my.
They let him go just because of his attitude. But what Suarez is doing, what Suarez did on Sunday night, uncalled for.
You're right about
Absolutely
that.
uncalled for.
You're right about it. It's so uncalled for. You mentioned his history. He bet in the World Cup, got kicked out. From the look of his record of suspension, he's been suspended almost 30 games for biting incidents and the racial undertow thing. And after that last break, he was banned for 4 months by FIFA for boorish bad behavior, unsportsmanlike.
And nothing has been handed down as of yet. Usually MLS will hand their suspensions out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Uh
A suspension?
I would be surprised if they didn't, but I wouldn't be surprised because it is a different competition, grant you.
Yes.
It is the League's Cup. It is not. It's not an MLS sanctioned match. It's not a Liga MX sanctioned match. It's not. It's not a CONCACAF sanctioned. It's its own entity, and I'm waiting to see what the fallout is going to be for that. Personally, I would say, if I was a CONCACAF, go ahead, Steve.
I was about to say there is a precedent. I remember a couple years ago during a U.S. Open Cup match, Clint Dempsey was then playing for the Seattle Sounders. He was booked. He was not happy. He ripped off the referee card. The referee card when they mention gold or yellow cards or red cards like that. He ripped it off and, man, tore it up. You know what I mean? It was deemed a physical start because the notebook is part of the referee equipment. I remember he got suspended, and he got suspended 3 league matches from MLS for that thing. So I would not be surprised, although it's outside of the League Cup, and the League Cup is over. Like I said, a suspension. Yeah, that's a coming.
I've been hearing things like throw them out the rest of the year, including playoffs. As far as season bans go, I think Jason Davis was one of them that was calling for it. I heard Rodney Marsh say something about it yesterday as well while listening to Grumpy Pundits on Sirius XM. Throw them out. Get them out of there. Suspend them for the rest of the year because that's despicable. You don't do that. You don't do that to anybody. And there's been fines and suspensions levied everywhere else in the soccer world for incidents like that. That's just that's deplorable. That's downright deplorable right there.
And don't forget, he's a repeat offender, mostly biting, but he betted on, which I thought he was the one of the assistants, but he's actually the head of security for the Sounders.
Yes. And like I said, it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, you're on the pitch. It's from what I understand, it's considered assault in Washington to spit on a person.
Washington State, yes, it is. I think it's also considered assault if it happened here in Detroit. That is an assault if you spit some saliva on somebody.
Interesting. So, yeah, MLS has got, they got a big situation on their hands right there. It is going to be interesting to see whether or not that they will take place, and or whether or not a suspension will be held here. I would say I would expect them to, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't because it's Inter Miami. Speaking of Inter Miami,
We did this last.
speaking of Inter Miami,
Speaking of
I've been
which,
saying that they're the most classless bunch of players outside of. I thought there were more classless than what San Antonio was on Saturday night at Keyworth.
oh
I think
my,
I think they're the biggest classless organization in all of sports. I don't. Yeah, David Beckham could go out there saying, "Show some class." Tell your players to
they're
show some
not showing
class.
class. I'm sorry to say they're not showing class. I told you about the incident of the head coach of Inter Miami who got a red card during the quarterfinals and then showed up behind the stand 20 feet away who were working orders by cell phone. And
What
oh
is it?
my,
The rules are for Inter Miami. It's okay for Inter Miami, but not for thee.
uh,
And to top it all off, here's
all
video
right.
of what happened outside of
Oh yeah, I saw that.
yeah, here's some video from what happened outside between some Miami Messi ultras and
Seattle
the
fans. Oh
Sounder
my
supporters outside
God.
of Lumen Field.
Oh my God.
Are you
Kind of.
kidding me? Are you kidding me with this stuff?
It's only a soccer match. Come on.
This
You
reminds me of the England back in the 80s.
Oh yes, it was a problem back then. You know that.
I mean that's downright ridiculous.
It is.
And I've seen questions come up where, okay, the soccer culture, and are we turning it? Are we now a soccer country with stuff going on like this?
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. You know what I mean? Some will get it. Some who don't get it will always bash on it. It just, oh my God.
Yeah, it's okay. Going back to the suspension thing. I just pulled up this tweet from a couple days ago. Daniel Solana, uh, MLS reporter. So here's the deal. I've been told this morning from CONCACAF sources. Luis Suarez won't face suspension in CONCACAF or MLS matches, only in future Leagues Cup games. To put it simply, Leagues Cup isn't run by CONCACAF or MLS. It's its own separate competition. And we just brought up that the possibility is there where he could be suspended by MLS for this incident.
Yeah, I know. And if it was a suspension at the League Cup level, it would be the whole tournament next season. If there is a League Cup next season, considering that trying to make it LAMX for the group stages and the quarterfinals, it didn't work. All four teams from the quarterfinals were MLS teams. Hello.
It still wasn't. This competition will not work unless they start playing games in Mexico. That's my opinion.
I
You
agree.
gotta start playing games in Mexico. It cannot be all in the United States. And you know what? Why don't you throw the CPL into this thing as well? Why
Okay.
don't you make it a true Leagues Cup competition and then have the CPL join in as well? Maybe in a couple of years have USL Division One join in on the fun.
That's the Canadian Premier League, I'm presuming,
Yes.
right?
Yes. That would be a true Leagues Cup competition. Have all four of your North American Division One leagues. I'm not really sure the status on the Canadian Premier League. I'm assuming that the Division One, depending on what
They're
Canadian
Division One, yeah.
they are Division One. Okay,
Yeah.
So have all four of your Division One leagues compete in Leagues Cup. And make it sort of like a North American Champions League. Upper North American Champions League. It wouldn't be like a Super League because, if you want to have a Champions League, CONCACAF has that going. They have teams from like Costa Rica and Puerto Rico and Central America as well that are involved in that. So that'd be a total different entity from that. Have like a quota though. Have like a quota. Say like Your top four not competing in Champions Cup. Your top four not not competing in the Champions Cup. Be a part of it. And then Liga MX would send their top 6 or 7 top 16, whatever you want to make it, to make it a viable competition, and have the competition spread out throughout the season.
I agree with you, especially games supposed to be in Mexico, because, like I said, the reason why we're talking about the League Cup in the first time, because it was created for Apple TV. Hello.
Exactly. And I understand Liga MX's schedule and the schedule for MLS and USL Premier and CPL and the Canadian Premier League don't concur with each other. Liga MX they play a spring fall schedule or fall spring schedule. With the two different phases. MLS spring to fall, CPL spring to fall, USL spring to fall. So until they can figure out a way, you can still do it. I'm just saying you can still do it. You could have some stages, in the early months, let's say like in March and April and all that stuff. You can still have those early stage games, and then maybe keep it for take a break for a couple months and then put it back up in the fall again. You got to have it within the calendar year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And not just a little break that's gonna interrupt the seasons of both your leagues.
I know.
Fixture congestion. Hello, they do it in Europe all the time.
I agree. They do it in Europe, and they don't have a problem.
Exactly.
It depends on the competition. If you have the Premier League and the FA Cup, you'll put your best player. If it's for a league like, let's say, the Carabao Cup, you'll put your probably second or third best teams on the pitch. So,
yeah, and it's exactly. It's just I mean, it gives a chance for the academy players to shine and whatnot and all that stuff. Speaking of, speaking of academy players, I mean, a lot of them are not doing, the MLS, like the MLS two sides and all that stuff. They want to be, that's how we got Isaiah LaFleur coming to Detroit City. They're not in competition in Leagues Cup. They're not in competition in USL Open Cup. So, but then again, that's another entirely different animal right there as well. So, but I think he could still transfer. I think the Union was still part of U.S. Open Cup, even though they were, I think they were part of the U.S. Open Cup if I remember correctly, and they could transfer their players from their two side onto the main squad.
okay.
It's just the ones that qualified in the U.S. Open Cup as MLS Next Pro teams that couldn't.
No, because they're connected, except for they're independent.
That's a unique kind of tie or whatever or cup tie or being cup tied if you ask me. So that's a unique way of doing that. So
Speaking of a segue from UK, the Premier League and the transfer window is now closed. And honestly, to tell you the truth, a lot of money have transferred all over. I wrote down the three highest dying, and mostly it's Liverpool. I know you are not a Liverpool fan, I know that, but hey, they're trying to buy their way to Title 21 in the Premier League.
Absolutely. And to all the Liverpool supporters out there, STFU as a Manchester City supporter. You guys were complaining about Manchester City spending all that money, getting all these players, getting that. We can't compete with Manchester City, blah, blah, blah. STFU. Okay, Isaac, 169.
Fred, I know. Listen, I wrote down from the picture you just said, they spent almost $500 million US on all three players. Like, Alec liked it. 169.
Isaac, 169.
Yes. Florian
Look,
Wolf, 156. Hujo Atkinson, 107. One of them scored a goal for Crystal Palace in his last game, Crystal Palace, before signing the big bucks. Big bucks.
yeah. STFUs, Liverpool. STFU. Because
Yeah.
you're spending just as much as the other. The only team you should be complaining about how you're spending and all that stuff, and the other team is also spending, is Manchester United, because they haven't done crap with
Yeah,
all their signings. They signed Sesko for 99 million, Mbuemo for 95 million, Kuna for 84 million.
I know.
What's going on with investment doesn't future investments don't determine future results.
We should know that. We should know that in Detroit sports and in sports all over. Despite you sign a contract, you have to perform well. If you don't, you're cooked.
Yeah, pretty much. And right now, I mean, okay, so yeah, I don't think these players were available. Were they available for last Wednesday's little upset in the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, you know what? When we had that little pseudo preview of the Premier League, remember, if you forgot, Manchester United finished 17th place. That's the lowest you could go without being relegated. And I told you, do you think that this could be the year one of the big five teams go to relegation? You said no. I said yes.
I'm still saying no. I'm still
Okay.
saying even with the transfer window, Antrim's got to go though.
Yeah.
Antrim's got to go. I mean, he does nothing for Manchester United, and Ruben Antrim, even in the later stages of last season, was showing the club was showing signs of just dismal play. Antrim's got to go.
I know.
I mean, as a blue, I love to see it. Don't get me wrong. As a blue, as a sky blue, I love to see it. But as with an objective opinion, it was an Ineos hire. It was an Ineos hire, Jim Ratcliffe hire. If you don't know what Ineos is, Jim Ratcliffe hire. And these guys, I mean, for a club that says that they're trimming fat here and there and all that stuff, they were pretty heavy in the transfer window as well.
Yeah.
So.
And the reason why I bring this up, you mentioned it reared its ugly head last week in the Carabao Cup, which is like all the teams like Premier, League One, League Two Championship. It reared its ugly head. Manchester was up 2-0, or was they down 2-0?
I think they were down 2-0.
They were down 2-0 and came back and forced into extra time. But dude, they lost in a wild 15-round penalty shootout, 12-11 or 13-12, I don't know, when their last penalty kick to keep the match going missed. And it was historic for many reasons, because for the first time, a fourth division team beat Manchester United, Burnley City. Unbelievable.
Yep, Grisby Town. I mean, that's been
Grisby Town. Sorry, thank you very much.
Grisby Town. I mean, pulling the upset in the Carabao Cup. It was reported though that there was like a player or two that was on that Grisby Town squad. How's this? The deadline for the file your lineup or whatever it was came around like noon. I don't know if it was noon British time or noon whatever time it was, but there was a couple players setting their squad up for Carabao Cup play. I guess one player they were playing with an ineligible player from what I understand. I guess they were, but it was a matter of timing. He was eligible. Technically, he was eligible, but the thing was, they didn't file the paperwork until a minute after the deadline.
Oh, my.
Literally a minute after the deadline. So Grisby Town will be fined.
Oh, my. Okay.
for doing that.
Yeah, you're
Just
right.
like basically a late fee on your on your credit card
I
type
know,
deal.
or a puntally, as they call it,
Yeah,
or jet charge. Yeah, am
yeah.
I not mistaken? Because we have done team news all the time during the USL season. Usually, the lineups are filed an hour before the
It has
game
to be
to
55
kickoff.
minutes before
Is it
kickoff.
a little bit different, or the same in the UK league? Like,
Well, this was a squad signing, so
okay,
that's I think that's a different type of deadline altogether. So
I see.
yeah,
All right.
but going back to, but the biggest thing though here, biggest thing I want to bring up, and why I keep saying STFU Liverpool,
Okay.
the net spend of this year, as far
Uh,
as this transfer window is concerned, Arsenal, probably one of the biggest ones right there, only received £9 million for their transactions, and they spent over 263 million. So they're the big dogs right now. Man United, they're they spent 210.5 million pounds, only got back 40 million.
huh.
Newcastle, we mentioned the Isaac situation and all. We mentioned the Isaac deal. I believe I'm looking at it. There is 197.6. They only got back 32 million. Tottenham, 104 or 174 million, only got back 36 million. Everton spent 122 million, only got back 6 million.
Uh-huh.
They're one of and this is because the net spend is they spent over Everton spent over 116 million pounds on players this year and only got back 6 million.
Oh, that's weird. And
Yeah.
you mentioned, is it sort of like existing contracts or something when they get the money back?
Well, their
What
net spend,
do you mean by
I was going to say their net spend was 116.
that? Oh,
Yeah, negative 116.
oh my. Hmm.
Yeah, that's huge right there. Sunderland, they're just getting back in the Premier League themselves. Over 110 million net spend. Liverpool. Now here's where the STFU comes from. Liverpool, 317 million spent.
Wow.
Got back 207 million
Wow.
of transfers and whatnot.
Okay.
110 million
Wow.
negative. Yeah, their net spend was negative 110.
Oh my.
Man City,
Your
147
team.
point.
Your
Yeah, Man City, 147.5 million. 81.2 million coming back for a net spend of negative 65.
wow. Hmm.
Big difference.
Okay.
Okay? Don't tell me that you guys are overspending and blah 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 blah. You're the ones that are overspending right now, and yeah, I get it. You're doing what you can with the money that you got from winning the Premier League and whatnot stuff. I mean, we still got some stuff from Club World Cup previous year or whatever it was, but we're still we still have money in the, but we were able to they were able to Manchester City was able to cut a couple players, Kyle Walker being one of them, being let go. Ederson just recently got let go. The timeline as far as that goes, as far as the two goalkeepers are concerned for Manchester City. By the way, I'll tell you one thing though. Trafford, their goalkeeper right now.
Yeah.
Let's just say, I think he's a bomb that was set by Man U fans or a
Okay.
spy. His last name
Okay.
is Trafford.
Okay.
Yeah, literally. He just blew a game on Sunday against Brighton.
Uh,
James Trafford is his, yeah. Player of the match? What? Famont having his player of the match in a 2-1 loss? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, he's being built up to be the number one there, but now the squad has let's just say the squad has gotten a little bit or has been added on there in the goalkeeper war. Donnarumma, 26 years old, is now the new goalkeeper, replacing Edison.
Okay.
So that's a huge deal there for Manchester City. You still have Ortega and Bettinelli as well. Ortega at 32 years old. James Trafford is 22. He's a young guy. So,
Just that guy.
but you bring in,
started, right?
but you bring in Donnarumma, who played with PSG last year, led them to the Champions League. That's a huge move as Ederson moves off to the Turkish league, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, grant you that. But going back to the like I said, going back to the whole net spend thing, it's like, all right, they may have. It's most like I said, you could get that from Manchester United supporters as well. But here's the thing with Manchester United: they never spend well.
No.
Remember the second experiment of Ronaldo? Didn't work out very well.
No. No.
Yeah, didn't work out very well. I think they got Ronaldo, we got Haaland. Next thing you know, we're hoisting 3 trophies.
And MU is sort of like been in the middle or near the bottom, almost near the bottom of the, So, because considering I would still, although they won the other week, I'm still saying a prime candidate for relegation. But you don't think so?
They'll find a way. They always find a way.
Oh yeah.
They
Just
always
like
find
Steph
a way.
Brown's always find a way to beat.
If they end up being in the bottom 3, that'd be the biggest surprise in the history of the Premier League.
Yeah, have any of the top teams in any top tier gone down a league? Pending investigations, not including investigation that forced them to the third division where we back up.
If you want to go by anybody's timeline of when the Big Six actually started, you can throw out Manchester City because they have been relegated from the league a couple times themselves. However, this was prior to involvement by Ben Salman and the Qatari group. Or Abu Dhabi group, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Before their involvement in the club, which ended up making them into a Big Six club at that point. Tottenham has never dropped. Arsenal's never dropped. Chelsea's never dropped. Liverpool. You kind of say that was the big 5 of the day.
Yeah.
Let's just say the big 5 of the day. Manchester City got in there, made it the Big Six. So, out of that group, none of those have been relegated, with the exception of Manchester City. But then again, you look at the timeline of Manchester City, the new money didn't start coming in until like 2007, 2008. So that's when they made their ascent into the Big Six.
I see.
Creating the Big Six. So, the top 5 usually stay the same. I mean, yeah, there's been instances where, say, like Liverpool would have a mid-table season, or Chelsea would have a mid-table season, or even Arsenal would have a mid-table season. Tottenham's had many mid-table seasons.
Yeah.
Even Man United's been, had their share of mid-table seasons or close to the bottom of the table, like last year.
Yeah. Unlike, let's say, the infamous glitch in the Matrix system when Leicester City, who's now playing in the Championship, won the Premier League.
And Blackburn Rovers as well.
Yes, but that was early, and they're no longer near the Premier League status. I don't think so.
Blackburn Rovers is right now, I think they're in Championship as well. So those are two of the two of the, shall we say, not norms from the
I
in
know.
the era of
That's what I said. A glitch in the matrix.
the glitch in the Matrix. Yes, those
Yeah,
were some extraordinary seasons by both those squads, by the
I
way.
know. So
So
you want to move on to a subject? Well, like I said, we've been talking about Premier for the last 20 minutes.
yeah,
Any
let's get some stadium news here. It's been
yeah,
reported.
USL Stadium news. Yes, and this time I have to mention one thing that could mean the reunion of the Rust Belt Derby. Now, for those of you who don't know, back in the early season of Detroit City FC, the Northern Guard, the Sixth Street Syndicate, which is a supporter group of AFC Cleveland, and another group, I can't remember the name of the group in Buffalo. Remember
SC
FC
Buffalo.
Yes, they formed the Rust Belt Derby, and a 6-game derby where they play for a nice shiny little Rust Belt trophy. And as you probably know, it's disintegrated. We still have the original Rust Belt Derby because we were the last winners. Well, Detroit City is in the USL. Buffalo is playing the USL, although they're trying to find a new stadium site after their first site was deemed unsuitable, selecting near a chemical plant site. Not good. But there is now rumors that there is a group planning on building a stadium in Cleveland, Ohio.
The site determined to be Cleveland State's basketball arena.
Yes.
I think it's another. No, it's not the Nutter Center. Another Center's down in Dayton. Something else. I can't think of the name of the place,
The
but
name of the site, I have been watching a lot of Motor City Cruise basketball because the Cleveland Cavaliers NBA G League also played there. The Cleveland Charge, they played at the Wolford Center. It's 32 years old, but there is talk about demoing the Wolford Center and building a stadium in Cleveland to house a USL side in Cleveland.
yep, that would make total sense there. I mean, yeah, grant you. I mean, it's not the prettiest there is. It has hosted NCAA tournament games back in the day, probably like in the '90s or whatever it is. But and most significance there. One of LeBron James's games was played there.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that's the thing. The Wallstein Center, prime candidate for being the site of USL expansion in Cleveland. Now, whether or not it will end up being that the team will go Division One,
Or
have a Super League
championship.
team, you never know because there's been
We
talk
haven't
about
heard
that.
what the new team will start out. Will they start in League One if it's possible, or championship? Who knows? But yes, I feel excited that if let's say the whole League One thing is delayed for a few years, can you say the revival, the Rust Belt Derby between us, the new Buffalo team, and Cleveland?
Depending if Buffalo ends up joining the league, but still, I mean, even a Detroit Cleveland rivalry would be paramount. I wouldn't say it would be Cleveland or SC Cleveland. Shout out Vinny Bell. It
Yeah,
wouldn't
we
be
have
that.
bad
It probably
memories of
wouldn't be
Vinny
that.
Bell.
I would say an incarnation of something like maybe the Force Academy or whatever it is. I'm sure they have like a male academy or something like that. Cleveland Force, part of USLW as well. I could see this possibly as Cleveland's bid of getting a Super League team down the road.
Okay.
Yeah, rough northern climate to have games in, say like February or whatnot, but
Well,
it,
as you probably know,
February, March, and all that. We know that here in Detroit as well. So.
the late Dick Goodson, he used to do weather in Cleveland for almost 45 years. Always predict weird storm happen in February, March, and yes, it's snow heavy because it's near Lake Erie.
Exactly. So I mean, it could be like I said, possibilities are there. It'd be good. It'd be good to notch Cleveland in the USL ecosystem as opposed to MLS.
MLS Pro.
Yes, and that's been the jewel right now for I would say a jewel for USL because you land Cleveland. That means 3 teams in Ohio already. You'll have Columbus, Cincinnati, and then Cleveland. They already got Columbus and Cincinnati. USL does not want to lose Cleveland.
Well, let's say one thing. Let's get those Fork Ohio shirts ready.
I have my scarf ready to roll, as always. But
well, since we let's end it up with some acknowledgement. I was going to use this last week, but since it was so loaded, congratulations to Doug Steinhen, who was announced as the new Wayne State women's head coach. He have 7 seasons experience for the Michigan Jaguar FC at technical coordinator and last 10 as the assistant of Lawrence Tech University. The women's team will start in 2026.
Should be a good hire to start that program up. And a big shout out to a colleague on the sidelines at Keyworth. Oh, God. Kyle. Trying to think. I texted you that earlier. But no. Kyle Clayton got a big gig. Got himself a big gig. Shout out to him.
And it's not another USL club, thank God. But hey, if you know this channel, we watch a lot of the USL games and kick around and all that. What is that big gig?
Yep, he got hired by CBS Sports Golazo Network, and shout out to him. He's done tremendous work behind the scenes at Keyworth. I mean, most of the highlight packages that you see, after matches and whatnot, a lot of that was done by him. A very hard-working young individual. Best of luck to him, and big shout out to him because he's done a fantastic job as far as providing providing media coverage for DCFC via the social channels and whatnot.
And especially all those videos of the big, key, important goals from all angles, from the main game cam, reverse cam, side cam, all that. They give you new perspective how the goal was scored.
Yes, and I mean, he did a fantastic job as far as that goes. Very, very, very much missed on Saturday because we didn't see too many of those all angles of Kobe's goal. I mean, pretty much it was straightforward, but still, I mean, there was a couple other angles. I provided an angle of it. Obviously, the camera angle from the top of the press box at Keyworth was another one, and shall we say, it gave a uniqueness of a different type of perspective when you're looking at coverage for Detroit City SC, and that like I said, it's going to be very missed. And like I said, best of luck to you, Kyle. You've been great. Been absolutely
you're
great.
Awesome, pal. Good luck to your new job at the Golazo channel.
Yes, and hopefully you provide some great coverage there. Hopefully it'll put you on some USL matches.
I know.
That'd be great. Promote the league even more. You know what I mean?
I think
but I'm sure they'll have them on like NWSL matches and the other stuff that they cover there on the CBS Sports Golazo Network.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's done unless we forgot anything.
That's about a wrap because we got some games going on. As we mentioned earlier, Indy taking on Hartford tonight. Big match in the Eastern Conference tonight. But we'll come back with you on Saturday, obviously from Keyworth. Orange County coming into town to take on Detroit City FC. Usual outlets. No usual outlets for that one. Obviously CW Detroit 50, CBS Sports Detroit, but that game will be on the Golazo Network.
How ironic, you know what I mean? And also point out no Musings next week because guess what?
There's a game next week. Well, we got a game next week, so I think what we'll plan on doing, we might do Musings.
Okay.
And then we'll probably do the Zoom thing again for New Mexico. For the New Mexico game as well. So we might do a double. I might release Musings Thursday.
Okay.
Well, we could release it Saturday. You know what? We could release it Saturday too. You never know because we'll be off on Saturday. It'll be a good primer for the week as well. But that will remain to be seen. We'll talk more about that on Saturday. as far as the plans
And
go there.
before I go, I hope you like my background tonight. Don't forget, they're taking deposits for the first season in 2027 over at Illuminati Field. You can find it on Illuminati5Field.com or via Detroit City FC. And also, they're taking season tickets for next season. The keyword, farewell.
Yes, $25 gets you into Alumni 5 Stadium as a deposit. So looking forward to the new home next year. All right, we'll see you folks on Saturday. For Steve,
have a nice day. See you Saturday.
And over in Hamtramck, I'm Matt Cat here in Fenton. We'll talk to you on Saturday. Until then, folks, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the galaxy.